Hello there. Welcome to Gamer Ghost. This is Gamer Ghost Dad, and today we're going to do the ultimate Intellivision Composite Video Output Showdown. We're going to go through the available mods that you can get today and really check out what their output is. So first we're going to take a look at what chips we're actually going to compare. Then we'll talk about our methodology of how we'll test. Then we'll get into the results, and then we'll kind of do a final judgment of which one is ultimately best. I really have 5 different chips to test and some different variations. First, I'm going to start with the RetroFixes Video Map mod. This is readily available on the RetroFixes website. You can order it and it should get to you pretty quick here in the US. This does require a RF modulator, and it can be also work with an RF shunt. So just to define a quick definition, an RF shunt takes the pieces that are inside the RF modulator and allows the video to come out as if it was connected to the RF modulator. So it's a way to remove the RF modulator while using these chips that require it. So that's our first. Second, I have the Euro Wi-Fi mod. This you can find on eBay pretty readily. It ships internationally here to the US, and it's really the same in terms of the chip makeup and how everything is put together, except this is using SMD components. Something new from Retro 6 is the Clean Cop Universal, and this is made not just for the Intellivision, it's really made for any older console that you would like to try to pull composite video from and clean up and display. Much like the first two, it also requires the RF to remain unless you're using the shunt. But the idea behind this one is you do some inline adjustments to get the video signal to where you need it, and then you can output from there. So kind of a different approach. It does have 2 video inputs and 2 video outputs. So if you wanted to have a streaming input, an output, in addition to a TV and an output, it can accommodate that. It can take not only 5 volts, but it can take above 5 volts. It has its own voltage regulator. So again, kind of a unique, different layout. Next up, I found the OG Hugo's Retro Mod Shop version of the composite out. This follows a different schematic than the other 2 that we looked at first. This is using what's called the Solar Fox schematic, and I find it to have much better video. We'll find out in the results, but it has the RF shunt actually built into it, so you can cleanly remove the RF, and you really should remove the RF to get rid of all the extra noise. So that's something that you can buy from eBay. It's also, I think, going to be readily available on Yugi Hugo's web store. And then finally, there's something I've been working on. I found the schematic, the same one that was used for OG Hugo's shop here. I found the schematic for building out this particular Solar Fox mod with some modifications by the cryptic coder on the resistor values, and decided to make my own chip that had everything there. And this is made to be a drop-in replacement for the RF modulator, and this is called the Cryptic Ghost Fox mod. So long, fun name, trying to honor the people that really had a lot to go into it, but we'll see how it compares to the rest as well. I had mentioned the RF shunt, and basically for the Intellivision to output video, it needs to have 12 volts going to the video signal, and if you want to, after that, you can draw those 12 volts down into 5 volts in order to take advantage of using the same power supply without having to run it. So this is just a little circuit. It goes from 12 volts into a couple resistors, and then we have a transistor here that's pulling down the 12 volts down to 5, and then we have the outputs from there as needed. So this is something we'll use to kind of test what the video output quality would be with the RF adapter in and without, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we move on next to the methodology. So for a methodology, we're going to use the same Intellivision for all our tests. It does have the RF removed in it at the time being. When we are testing the RF, we will put this in kind of in this way, and we will wire everything back up, including the ground clip, and we will test with this in. You'll see that I have a lot of the important points actually soldered in with jumper wires. So we have video, we have 12 volts, We have audio. We'll probably not really test with the audio to avoid some of the noise. I have a 5-volt rail that's 5 volts only. I have ground. So that should take care of us everything that we need on the input side. When the RF modulator is sitting here, this is actually a ground point, this entire plane here. So hopefully that will provide ground. We'll also explicitly provide it to make sure it gets it. And then on the other side for the output, I have 2 jumper wires here. The green is going to a regular RCA adapter, and that goes to the center, and the white goes to the ground on the outside, and that'll give us our video out signal direct from the chips. And then from there we're going into a Retro Tink 4K with no filters applied, just the default output, and then from the Retro Tink 4K output via HDMI to a Elgato HD 60X, just for me to capture the video as best we can. So that's kind of the high level methodology. Talking a little bit about the RF adapter, this does put off a lot of noise and probably is adversely affecting the composite mods more than not. But we have 4 inputs on this. We have the channel selection, we have the audio, we have the 12 volts, and we have the video signal. If we ground the 12 volts, excuse me, the channel selection to itself, to the casing, which is grounded to the ground of the Intellivision, that will default it to channel 4, or excuse me, channel 3, so we don't have to run that wire, but we will be connecting each of these 3, just the 12 volt in the video for these tests when we're testing with the composite and the chip. So what we'll do when we're ready to test the chip, I'll take the Euro Wi-Fi as an example here. So we have our inputs, we have ground, we have our power supply, this takes 5 volts, and then we have video. I'm just going to connect the jumpers. So in this case, I'll connect my video to the video input. Since it is using direct 5 volts, and I'm going to test with the composite or the RF modulator, I'm going to connect the 5 volts. And then I am also going to connect my ground. And on the output side, I would take my video output, and I would take my ground, and that should essentially represent the chip being installed. What I would then do is I'm going to place all the chips in the corner here for processing. We'll always have the same length of cable, we'll be using the same length of cable, and I'm going to put in a copy of Baseball for the Intellivision for testing, and we would test this chip as is. Now here, for example, we would need to hook up the RF adapter. We would run a couple extra jumpers for that. Or if we're going to use the RF shunt, we'll run these wires to the RF shunt and then the wires to the chip. But we'll keep everything the same as much as we can on distances so you get a pretty clean comparison. I'm actually going to go silent here. I'll let you kind of look at these and absorb the video signal, compare, and then I'll come back when we're ready to summarize everything. I'll show some different views with the videos right next to each other so you can see how they look. Stretch towards you. I feel you on my fingertips. My tongue dances behind my lips for you. Here we basically have everything compared up against each other. So which one looks the best to you? To me, there's a pretty clear winner down in the lower right-hand corner, and that is with the Solar Fox mod version of the output. It really looks the best. Let's do a compare between the two mods, Solar Fox mods, to see what they look like. Really, to me here, the difference is just a little brighter color. On the left is the Cryptic Fox, and that's using the higher level resistors to create that extra difference. You know, it'll vary by console, but I think it certainly tops or at least compares. Well, there you have it. I think it's pretty clear which of these is going to give you better results. I also think it's pretty clear that leaving the RF modulator in the box when you have an option to go straight to composite just doesn't get you a lot unless you're just really into that composite look and feel and you want to keep it for that reason. Some of these are pretty clean and pretty unused. Some are pretty rough, but I think take them out. And there's no point in having all that extra noise. If you're doing it in Intellivision 1, you won't need the extra shield. But to me, the clear winner is the OG Hugo Retro mod and our very own Gamer Ghost mod that we're working on here. I actually have a sample of this going off to Ivory Coast Collections. He's a pretty prolific modder in terms of adding these boards and other boards to the Intellivisions. I'd love to get his feedback and see what he finds. But in the time being, if you want a composite mod, my recommendation is to go after the OG Hugo board and install it in your system. Remove the RF adapter. You can just place this right here and then output on the RCAs or something like that. Right now, the design of the Cryptic Ghost Fox outputs to a TRS, meaning that we'll have kind of a jumper that comes out that has yellow, red, white, and it will go directly into, solder directly down into where the previous mod was, and the wires will hopefully go a short distance. That's the plan for the mod. We're also looking at maybe adding a 9-pin option. So later, if you wanted to add RGB, maybe we were able to get the Yannick mod to work. So anyway, clear winner. Go with mods based on the Solar Fox. It gives the best possible picture. I really think the best possible picture you can get. Unless I find something better, I'll let you know. Until the time when we get our mods back that really get the RGB signals, I think this is the way to go. And so thanks for this longer video and taking the journey with me. This is really kind of one of my last projects I want to do for the Intellivision, and it's been an awesome journey. So like and subscribe if you like this type of content. There will be more different content coming back. We'll be getting back to our Xbox content as well. Appreciate you and watching, and have an awesome day.